Today we're going to be talking about the wood lathe. We're going to talk about how to adjust it, how to turn centers, how to make goblets, that sort of thing. So the first thing I'm going to do is choose a piece of wood for some practice turning. And for that, I'm going to reach into this basket down here, and I want to choose one about like this. So if you choose one that's a lot longer, you can actually get two out of this one if you cut it in half. And the reason I would want you to do that is because this is just going to be waste material when you're all finished practicing. So now I'm going to drill some holes in the ends so I can mount it between centers. For your practice piece, you're going to have a piece about this long, and you need to find the center on both ends. The best way to do that is to lay a straight edge on it corner to corner and make an X on both ends. Just like that. And then we're going to drill those. Need my glasses on. You'll need a hair tie if you have long hair. Always want to make sure that I have a pair of safety glasses on before I begin. I'm going to put this onto that mark, press firmly, and then turn it on. And drill it down until you actually make a dimple on the end, more than just the hole, but a dimple from the other part of the drill bit. You need to do both ends. First thing you need to know about is to turn between centers here and here. I need to add the fixtures that go into them. This is called a spur center. And of course the other side is a live center, so it spins on a roller bearing. And now I'm going to put the piece of wood on and bring this up tight to it. Lock it in back here. Give this a good pull so it won't move around. Tighten this up. Go tight enough that when you grab onto here and you turn the wood, the whole machine will turn. If I don't do that, if I back it off and I turn it like this, you're going to get a squeak and you're going to wonder what's squeaking and why does it stop when my tool hits it. But if I tighten this up, you can see that there's no way that's going to squeak and stop. This is the tool rest. You want to get it as close as you can without hitting the wood. And you want it just approximately at center, which I have it now. So I turn this by hand to make sure that it's working without hitting anything. I would take this sock out if I have the dust control on, which I'm not going to do right now because it's too loud while we're doing the video. But a lot of my chips and dust will go into there and you won't have it in the room. This is a speed adjustment down here and the on-off switch. So if I turn this on, you can see down at the low speed. I can turn it up to higher speed. And grab a tool. You can see the end of this tool is what we call a fingernail grind. There's several of them like this. Here's one with the blue handle that's a very similar one with just a smaller end on it. And there's several others around the room. I could also use this tool called a parting tool to do some of my decorating, and a round nose tool to do some of the shaving as well. You don't necessarily need any of the other tools at this point. I'm going to hold the tool. Let's turn it off so you can hear me better. I'm I'm going to hold the tool like this with my finger against the tool rest so that as I come across here, I can keep it even to the wood. So I'm not pushing it too far in at any one time. I clamp down hard on it so that the tool will be steady across this rest. Hold the other end of the tool, give it a little bit of an angle. Hold it like this till you hear it knocking on the bevel. Bring it up a little bit till you see the chips start going. That's the angle you want to hold it at. Looks round, doesn't it? You put this on there, see how it's bouncing? That means it's not round. See? But it looked round. So we're going to keep going. Getting closer. Still got a flat side, you could feel it. See? And if I hold the tool this way and get that flat side against there, I can get a lot of those little bumpy parts out, smooth it a little bit. See that? Now we have it pretty round. There's a little flat spot here, and that's about it. I think there's one right there and there. So we'll go just a little further. See a different kind of chip come off when I do that? This way you have a real interesting pattern of chip. This way you get a whole different curl. And with the dust control on, that would all suction up. So now I'm going to switch tools and start making some designs and play around with this. Now you can do just about any design you want, but I tell people, if you can make a small miniature baseball bat, you're really getting yourself really prepared for the lathe. So let's try that. You can always switch to the round nose tool. It does a nice job, and it might be easier for you to use, especially when you're getting down near what size you want. It slows down your cut a little bit, gives you time to get your shape of your bat. This is a piece of maple that we're using, by the way. It's a little harder than some of the wood, but it cuts really nice. A real baseball bat wouldn't be quite this fat at the bottom, so we're going to make it smaller. And the transition's a little bit big still. That looks a little bit better. Probably just chipped it just then. Sometimes you can hear when the wood disappears at one end. Hopefully it won't be chipped when I turn it off, but we'll take a look. Yeah, there's a little chip in it. It's not too bad though. I was going pretty fast for demo purposes. Now I'll need a piece of sandpaper. I picked up a few different pieces of sandpaper. You want to slide it over your fingers and you'll feel it grab the skin. You know that you've got one that's pretty good. And then you go finer and finer as you go. So I'm going to start out with one that's pretty rough. We always want this tool rest out of our way so you don't pinch your fingers in here. I've had, over the years, this is almost my 40th year, I think, this year. And I've had a few students who've gotten caught in there like that, and it wasn't fun. This is when the exhaust system comes in real handy. As a matter of fact, I think we'll go turn it on real quick so you can see the difference in how well it picks up. Open the blast gate. Test it real quick here. See this? That picks up all our sanding dust. Sand with the grain. Thought I'd clean it up a little before I close that. If you can still see scratches going around, you're going to have to keep sanding this way with the grain to get as many of those out as you possibly can. Then you would work down to a finer grit, and then finer and finer until you're all done. Once you're finished, I'm going to go over to the bandsaw and cut this off. Slightly off center. I need to put on your key ring. You want to clean up after yourself. Try to do this before the end of class so that we aren't rushing out of here and not getting it all cleaned up. It doesn't have to be perfect, but the more you get, the less the next class has to worry about it.